Thoroughbred. Bone density tuned to match the test of racing. One way these elite athletes, formed by nature, refined by breeding, and shaped by training, conquer the Derby. The supreme test.
Hi there, Investec Derby and Oaks fans. It's my great pleasure to be able to chat to Mike Cattermole, the man who called the Betfred DANTE Stakes and, of course, the Musidora, and a man who has been invaluable to South African viewers over the years. And I said it last year and the year before, I can't believe the years flown by so fast, Mike, and we're coming back to the United Kingdom. So excited.
Yeah, Andrew, it's great to chat here. We're looking forward very much to what could be an exceptional Derby winner, perhaps, this year. And that's dominating the Aidan O'Brien team, that's dominating the scene over here at the moment. It's quite extraordinary.
They're talking about this horse Saxon Warrior in the same type of breath as Australia and maybe Camelot, and even some of the greats like See the Stars.
Yeah, they are. And the wonderful thing about, you mentioned that the access to information and stuff, you can watch, Saxon Warrior on your mobile phone at home. And Aidan O'Brien had an open day for the media earlier this week, and he was very, very upbeat about the way that Saxon Warrior, what he'd done since he won the 2,000 guineas. They were absolutely amazed how much physical improvement he made over the winter, Andrew, and something that they were taken aback at. And he was a very good 2-year-old, but it seems as though he could be an absolutely outstanding 3-year-old. And they're even now talking about the Triple Crown, as you well know, at Ballador Stables. There's a statue of the great Nijinsky who did the Triple Crown back in 1970. So it's always something on their minds there.
Roaring Lion is nearest to us to Saxon Warrior down the centre. Massa behind those. Tip to Win is staying on in the closing stages. Heading up towards the line now, it's Saxon Warrior in front from Roaring Lion. Tip to Win, Massa behind him, but Saxon Warrior has won by a length and a half with Donnacha O'Brien to Tip to Win, Massa Elikam.
Were you surprised by the turn of foot he showed at Newmarket, the speed he showed there?
Yeah, we were. Donnacha was very happy with him. He'd been riding him in all his work. He was very confident. And obviously for a horse that we always thought was middle distance, going to be a middle distance horse, for him to be able to quicken up the way he did was really special.
So from what you've seen, the Derby trip, 1.5 miles, no concerns at all?
Obviously, we always viewed him as a middle distance horse, but obviously when you see him quickening up that way over a mile, like, you have to think, like, is he a specialist miler or what? But we always thought and viewed him to be a middle distance horse. But I suppose if you said, like, would you rather him do that than look like he's staying on third or fourth, you'd obviously rather him to win the way he won. So it just makes him very exciting, really.
The man has had some of the greatest horse flesh the planet's ever seen. And he's surprised at the way the horse has won the mile, knowing that he's a middle distance horse, and looking at his pedigree by Deep Impact and looking at all the stamina on the dam line. You mentioned when we spoke before this telephone call that there was a possibility that this horse could even go for the St. Leger over 2,800 metres. That's absolutely remarkable.
Well, yeah, it's a funny thing, really. I remember Camelot won the 2,000 guineas a couple of years before that. We all thought it was quite extraordinary to think that he's got a middle distance pedigree, and then you start doubting whether maybe he's got too much speed for a race like the Derby. We had all this with Nashwan back in the late 1980s as well. But I think exceptional racehorses can drop back in trip and do what they did. But his performance in the Guineas, I watched it again last night, it was incredibly impressive. He never looked at any stage uncomfortable and was well on top of the line. And notably, Andrew, at the end of it, Donnacha O'Brien, Aidan's youngest son, who rode him, took an awful long time to pull him up, which is a good sign when you're running over a longer distance at Epsom.
All right, now, about a horse called Young Rascal, because I pulled up a little bit of information on Wikipedia with regard to the most relevant races that produced the Investec Derby winner. And of course, two races that are most important are obviously the DANTE Stakes and the 2,000 guineas. But the Chester Vase has raised its hand with a very, very interesting horse by the name of Wings of Eagles, who was second in that race last year, running on beautifully. And he was a last gasp winner of the Investec Derby last year. Do you think that perhaps this horse of Bernard Canter's, Young Rascal, could send him out in a blaze of glory, given the fact that Mr. Canter is about to retire from the Investec team?
Well, he's going out there then with a rattling good each-way chance. I think that Young Rascal did ever so well to win at Chester a couple of weeks ago, because he didn't quite get the run of the race that day, and I loved the way he stuck to it. His attitude was faultless, the way he picked up and quickened. But he's a really progressive horse. He was beaten comprehensively by his stablemate, My Lord and Master, as a 2-year-old last back end. And William Haggis and Maureen, his wife, Lester Pickett's daughter, was saying that his Young Rascal's the one that's come on the most and has got the most quality of the two. And if you're looking for something to take on Saxon Warrior in the Derby, then Young Rascal has to fit into that category. I'm not saying he's going to be good enough to beat him, but he's certainly good enough to be lining up there with a decent each-way chance, given that he's going to improve again, I think. He's only had 3 starts in his life.
And of course, I think a lot of people in England will know this, but a lot of people in South Africa may not know this, that Chester is a very, very daunting racecourse. It's tight, it's a cauldron, there's so much activity, and this is a young horse that, as the commentary intimated, he threaded his way through the eye of the needle, and I thought he won with authority, even though the horse that finished second to him, DXB, was running on strongly. I think that Young Rascal always had his measure.
Yeah, I agree. I think he was the best horse in the race, without question. It's amazing how many horses that seem to trial at Chester, which is a very tight track, do well when they go on to Epsom, which is a crazy track. Let's not make any bones about it. If you wanted to create a championship racecourse to test out the best thoroughbreds around, you perhaps wouldn't have chosen the roller coaster track that is Epsom, with the camber all over the place. That said, Andrew, that's why it's such a fantastic test, because it climbs, it falls, it turns and twists, and the camber is all over the place up the straight. So it's a proper test of all the attributes of a thoroughbred, which is why the winner of the big race is always lauded.
Down the straight they come on towards the last furlong in the Chester Vase. Flag of Honour still just in front. Hunting Horn's got daylight. Here's DXB down the outer. Young Rascal threading the eye of the needle. Then it's Bellini. Young Rascal is quickening up with DXB. These two forging on together. Young Rascal, head bowed low, wins the Chester Vase for William Haggis and James Doyle from DXB.
Folks, thanks very much for joining us here on the road to the Investec Derby. They call it the greatest flat race in the world. It is the greatest flat race in the world. And of course, the supporting feature on the day before is the Investec Oaks, the Coronation Cup, the Dash. There's just so much going on, and we'll be sure to keep you right in the loop here on your World of Winners teletrack.
Knowing where you're going is crucial, but knowing where you've come from, well, you know.
Down.
Sorry, up. We strive to be out of the ordinary in everything we do. Times have changed, but our resolve and principles never will. The restless spirit got us here. Can you imagine where it might take you?